Hello there, this is TNRTACKY Podcast. We are a podcast that will be talking about games from PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, you name it. We'll be talking right through all them platforms, right through all our episodes, but also we'll be now and again talking about Marvel stuff and stuff like that. But don't forget, if you say to Alexa, play TNRTACKY Podcast, and the episode, it will play our podcast. So yeah, that's our podcast, and yeah, we hope you enjoy it, guys. Hello guys, and welcome back to our podcast. This is TNRTACKY, and this is episode 8. We have TNRTACKY on our show this week. How are we doing, mate?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Not bad. And we also have beside me is my co-presenter, Phil Newbay. Okay, that was a bit intense, that, but how are you?
I'm not bad. Got a bit of a sore throat, but we'll make do.
No worries. Is there any questions you want to ask Frank to start off?
No,
Okay.
I'll let you start it.
Okay, so I know that you're more of a PC gamer, aren't you?
Yeah, when it comes to like graphic stuff, I tend to like PC more for graphics side of stuff.
Okay, so what's your favorite PC game?
Well, at the moment, I've been playing Hogwarts Legacy. Only have 5.9 hours played, but I really enjoy it. It's a good game, but in terms of, how long it's been out for, they should fix the bugs and glitches because, it's a big game and people want it to enjoy it better. Like, I ended up having a problem with a high contrast thing, so I had to turn that off because it would make stuff different colors.
Yeah, I see.
So, like,
go
on, mate.
I was just going to say, it's a bit like, if you turn the contrast up yourself, everything goes all weird colours, doesn't it? So, yeah, I can see where Frank's coming from there. And in fact, I seen it on his live stream. Yeah, it did look a bit weird when it was on.
So I was going to say, I have seen a couple of live streams where characters have got stuck somewhere, like stuck in the floor.
What, like Rogue Company? Man, dude, that wasn't a glitch, though, was it? It was more than a glitch.
But yeah, I mean, considering it's a AAA game, you'd expect like there wouldn't be any glitches at this point.
No, you wouldn't, would you? But it's just one of them. But I suppose it being a new game, there's always going to be a glitch there and then, because you just look at Cyberpunk, for instance. That came out, it had so many bad glitches in it, so they took it off the PlayStation Store, and I think they took it off the Xbox Store for a while, and then we brought it back on there.
And that was crazy. That, I mean, the glitches on that were just intense. Like,
yeah, they were.
Like, I think they were way too far.
Yeah, they were. But going back to Hogwarts Legacy, even though it's got that glitch, Frank has said, he switched it off, and it was fantastic after that, wasn't it, mate?
Yeah, it's a perfect game other than that little glitch now and there. They just need to sort the game out when they have so many people enjoying that game as it is and day and age right now.
Yeah, would you believe it?
So, out of curiosity, what house are you in?
So, at the moment, I'm at the Hogwarts. Is it Castle, James?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm at the Hogwarts Castle, and you do like a lot of side quests and stuff like that. And at the moment, I ended up fighting a big monster, and that was pretty cool to experience. But it was really hard at the same time, considering I got it on normal.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it.
Yeah, same. And what Phil was regarding to before is what house, as in what class are you in at the moment?
I'm not too sure what class I am in at the moment. I know I'm with Professor... who was the name again? Professor...
Weasley?
Weasley, yeah. In Air class at the moment, ended up doing like these magic wands and stuff like that, and end up fighting, and you have to try and win. The more you do it, it's harder to do.
Well, I seen your live stream of it the other night, and I think you actually chose Gryffindor, didn't you?
Yes, I chose Gryffindor on one of the side quests.
Nice. So Gryffindor is the house you're in currently at the moment. I don't know whether you can change your house, but at the moment it's Gryffindor, isn't it?
Yeah, at the moment it is.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. What do you like about it at the moment, Phil? Like, okay, we haven't played it, but you've been watching a few streamers playing it, haven't you?
I don't know, because I mean, I'm comparing it to like the Harry Potter games I used to play back on the PlayStation 1, where, you know, graphics were nowhere near as good as they are now.
Yeah.
So, but like the level of detail that they've put into it seems amazing, to be fair. The only thing I would like is to see more cameos in it, but I don't know, maybe that's just me.
I can see that happening though, eventually. I mean, I can see, well, the Weasleys are in there, aren't they? So they're in there at the moment. But
yeah,
they were the teachers before Harry Potter, weren't they? I would imagine, I think. Before Harry Potter.
Yeah, because
I also heard that the game is doing that well, they might be bringing out a multiplayer for it.
Yeah,
wow.
I heard that up to 8 players, I think, so you can hang around with 8 friends, which would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Waving your wand around. Be amazing, wouldn't it?
Well, just need to find 8 friends first.
I hope it's crossplay then, because then obviously us 3, that's 3 of us already, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it'd be amazing.
Wouldn't it just?
It has actually just downloaded onto my PS5 now as well.
Oh, was it? Ah, nice.
Yeah.
I'll have to look on later and give myself a download on there as well.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the game is amazing. They're already in development with Hogwarts Legacy 2, would you believe it or not, which is absolutely fantastic to hear. And I wonder if that'll go to the 1900s, because this one's based in the 1800s, or will they go a bit further? What do you reckon?
Personally, I'd like to see them go further forward, like to the present. Well, not the present, but like modern day Harry Potter.
Yeah. So you would like to see it when Harry Potter comes in?
Yeah, I mean, I understand that like they didn't want to do that because they wanted it to be its own standalone thing, but
yeah.
I don't know. What's your opinion, Frank?
I think they should bring it to like the early 2000s at least, where Harry Potter's in there. I think it'd be a great send-off to the game.
Mm.
Yeah, the same as me. And I've heard as well they're bringing, well, they might be bringing a Hogwarts Legacy TV series out. Now that in itself would be brilliant, wouldn't it? I would have thought it would, like, obviously start from the 1800s and then build its way up to the Harry Potter stories. I don't know, but it could do, couldn't it?
Good.
I mean, there's all different ways they could go with the game, and if they're going to bring a TV series, they could link it to the game anyway, couldn't they?
Yeah, and if they do bring a TV series, I assume they probably would link it to the game where they have the same name.
Yeah. Well, I believe Harry Potter is themselves. They're making the TV series anyway, aren't they? Well, there was rumours about it a few months ago. Whether it's still happening, I don't know.
I mean, I have no idea.
Me either, but I just love the style of the game. The graphics is amazing, and you know, there's other games that's coming out, and they're gonna look fantastic. I mean, the new Spider-Man game, for instance, that's coming out pretty soon. I can't wait.
So, what other games do you play on the PC, Frank?
So currently I've been playing a lot more Rogue Company on PC. I currently got 49 hours played on PC. I don't know how many hours I got played on Xbox, but I'm starting to play Rogue Company on PC rather than Xbox now.
How are you finding it?
Yeah, I'm finding it really good. Ultra everything graphics, and it looks amazing.
Well, talking about that, I, you know me, I was playing Rogue Company on the PS5. God, for first few years that it had come out, but since I've got the PC, I've started going on it, and I don't think I've gone back to the PlayStation to play on Rogue Company. And for some odd reason, I'm playing better now than I was on the PS5. Weird, but it is what it is, isn't it?
Well, no, it's not weird because you get more FPS on PC compared to consoles, so your eyesight is going to be better reaction to that game, especially if you're like 120 FPS or so on.
Yeah, I suppose that's true because it's a lot smoother, but saying that, I don't think it's actually that bad on the PS5, is it, Phil?
I quite like it on the PS5. I mean, obviously the only thing I've got it to compare to is the PS4, but
Yeah.
I mean, I found it easy enough to play without. I've not noticed any like drops in FPS by comparison. So.
Yeah, the only thing is, though, you don't know what FPS you're on PlayStation because it doesn't show you the FPS count, does it? So.
No, it's true.
Yeah, that's what they need to do is put in game FPS counter like you have on PC. You can have a FPS counter in games.
Well, yeah, well, you would know then, wouldn't you? You would know what you're running on and what you know is going to be smooth and what's not going to be smooth. So, yeah, I think they should bring that to consoles because FPS is a big thing for gaming now, especially multiplayer games. What do you think about it all, Phil, the FPS? Do you reckon that is a thing for game? I mean, I think it is for multiplayer games. It doesn't bother me as much if you're just playing story games because obviously they don't have to use much FPS, do they?
I mean, when it comes to like online shooter kind of games, if you've got like a really low FPS, you're really going to struggle to keep up with the competition. So yeah, it would be nice if they gave you like the option to control or at least see it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they should as well, and it's a shame really because they're missing out. Because I bet you're like, oh, why is the games not as smooth? And you're thinking, well, my internet's good, so why is it doing it all this? But if you had the FPS counter on, it would make a hell of a difference because you know, okay, it's only going in 50-something FPS. No wonder it's a little bit uneven with smooth texture and all that. But I've got a question for you, Frank. Though, or I should say TNRTACKY. You named both, but I'll call you TNRTACKY because the gaming podcast. But why did you call yourself TNRTACKY?
Well, it started out a clan called Titans Nation Region, and the way I got that name was back on Titanfall 2 when I used to play that. That's how I ended up getting the clan name Titans Nation Region. And then Tacky, I just randomly come across it. I don't know, I just randomly went, oh, I'll name myself that one day.
That's very interesting to hear because we've been talking to everyone in our podcast, and this is one of our favourite questions: why they name themselves, what they name themselves, and we've had all different stories, and it's been fantastic to hear which ones come out. But Phil, what you reckon on that? I mean, obviously you've named yourself Mr. Burns after The Simpsons, but you keep saying they've stole your name, like, but...
Yeah, they predicted my name. I didn't steal it, they predicted it. But no, it is interesting to hear other people's names because, like, you know, did they pluck them from thin air or did they have a reasoning behind it? So the fact that, like, I didn't know you got yours from playing Titanfall 2 because... Like, you know, I used to think that was an amazing game before they closed the service.
It was brilliant, wasn't it?
You know, I probably wasn't at the same level that Frank was, but yeah, but we were good enough.
I tell you what, I have to admit, Titanfall 2 was one of the games I was quite good at, in a sense that I was a lot better with a big heavy gun rather than a small light one, you know what I mean? And you think to yourself, it's not going to be as smooth, is it, when you're walking around with one of these big, huge guns that's a heavy light. But no, Titanfall 2 was amazing, and they closed the servers down, and it was just very disappointing, really. And I'm pretty sure Phil will agree with me on that. And I don't know whether you carried on playing it, Frank, before the servers got closed down, but...
I carried on playing it before the servers closed down, but generally I think I'm upset from that because I really love Titanfall 2, especially. It was a really good game, and you know, it reminds me a bit of like Apex now, because Apex is getting a bit like Titanfall 2.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is, me and Phil were all hyped up for Apex, thinking, oh, we're going to really, really enjoy it, but we just couldn't get used to it, really. Could we, Phil?
No.
It was just
it's a good game, but...
It is a good game, but we just couldn't get used to it. We actually thought there was going to be Titans in the game as well, but that didn't turn out. Well, I definitely thought that. I'm not sure about Phil, but yeah, I did think there was going to be Titans. What did you think? Did you think there was going to be Titans, Phil?
See, well, I remember you were always talking about, they're going to release Titans 2 because it's the same developers as Titanfall 2, so they're going to release Titans. And I always thought, maybe not, but it was one of them. Like, I didn't believe they would until I saw it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
because I've got to a point now where I don't believe. Yeah.
I heard rumours for ages saying that when they were bringing it out, okay, maybe not when it first comes out, but they were going to bring Titanfalls to it eventually. But it's one of them. I would have liked to give it a bit more of a try, and I might one day get back into it and see if I can try it again. But just back when it first came out, I was like, I don't know. I mean, Frank got really into the game, like we've got really into Rogue. Now Frank's really into Rogue. It's one of them. you can be into all different games, or you might not be into a game originally, and then you go back to it, and it's like, wow, the best game ever, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure TNRTACKY, Frank, whatever you want to call him on this show, but I'm pretty sure he'll agree with us as well.
Yeah, especially you do have like your days that, you know, you don't want to play Apex for a couple of weeks because you got yourself too tired on the game because you've been glued to that game for so long. So playing a different game in general is actually a good thing to do.
Well, it is. It's good. It's good for your mindset as well, isn't it? You know, I mean, I went through a patch where, and I've said this in my previous episodes, haven't we, Phil? Phil will agree. We're going to mention it again because obviously the subject's come up again. But yeah, I'll stick to a game for ages, and then a new game will come out, and I'll be like, oh, I'm going to give that a try. And then you forget about the old game that you previously started playing. And then when you go back on it, you're just really rubbish at it, aren't you? You know? But it's one of them.
I know. Well, it's like I've been tempted to go back to Final Fantasy VII Remake because I'm only 2 trophies off the platinum. Nice. Granted, they're the 2 hardest trophies now, but I think, you know, how much time and effort I've spent on it. But when I've tried it again not too long ago, I found out I was terrible at it again. So it's like a whole new learning curve all over again.
Yeah, and it's one of them as well. If you're going to go back on a game that you previously played, you got to stick at it. But if you're not so good at it, you're like, should I leave it for a little bit longer? It's one of them. Like Frank said, having a change your game is good for you, and I can't wait to play Hogwarts Legacy. That's going to be a game that I'm going to be streaming as well, because I just think it's brilliant. And you probably both heard, because I've sent you the thing over, but 12 million copies were sold in the first 2 weeks. That is absolutely fantastic, don't you think?
I think
Absolutely.
personally it was 11 million units in 2 weeks. I think you sent to me. Yeah, but it's actually a good goal for a game, Hogwarts Legacy. To be honest with you, like the game down the line is going to be really good, and you know a lot of people started streaming it. Like you got Nick Merckx,
Yeah.
Timmy started streaming it. Yeah, ended up having like people like Stillman and all that. So all the big content creators went over to that game for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I believe as well, a lot of people didn't buy the standard edition. They bought the deluxe edition, which give you 4 days early access as well. So a lot of streamers have been playing it a lot earlier before everyone else, really, because they bought that edition, haven't they? So I think people that have had more goes on it, they're probably like nearly right through it now. But I believe it's like you can complete it probably under 70 hours. I'm not sure, but what do you reckon? Can you complete it in that long?
Yeah, so it's dependent on the difficulty you play at, and it's dependent how good you are at games. I mean, you know, it's going to take longer for some people, the average gamers, but not like the best at the game. It'll take longer. It's all depending on the person and the difficulty you play on.
Yeah, I mean, once again, it's a fantastic game, and I'm pretty sure a lot more people will be buying it soon, and they're going to break all records by the looks of it for a single-player game anyway. Well, anyway, Phil, is there anything else you want to ask TNRTACKY while we're here?
Yeah, so I know that you like to play Truck Simulator quite a bit as well, don't you?
Yeah, I mainly play Truck Simulator because I absolutely love the convoys, and sometimes I do like event stuff, so I like help direct the convoy going the right way. And I become like supervisor, so I supervise the convoy. I like simulator games. I like, racing games. Forza Horizon is a good game, for example. You got all of the games out there. You got SSO Corsa that I haven't played, but I want to buy on PC.
Yeah, there's some fantastic simulator games, and yeah, Frank mentioned Forza Horizon. Oh, what a fantastic game that is! I mean, I wish they brought that to PlayStation, because honestly, mate, I think you would enjoy it, Phil. It's a really, really good game, and it's a big open world where you can just race or just hang out with friends and driving weird trucks, and you can put all these weird horns on them and everything. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, isn't it, Frank?
Yeah, indeed.
But yeah,
it does sound good. It does sound like one of the kind of games that I'd love to play.
Well, it's a little bit like okay, it's not as good probably, or it might be getting there equal to it, but the crew, especially the Crew 2. The Crew 2 is amazing because you can fly planes on it and everything. And we played that for a while, but I don't know why we stopped playing it. Was it because we got the PS5 and we just didn't re-download it? I can't remember.
No, I'm pretty sure we switched over to a different game at that point. It might have actually been Apex.
Yes, it could have been, actually. Because it's that long ago now since we played that.
Yeah. Years now.
And if you heard in last week's episode as well, Phil had something funny to say in last week's episode. It's brilliant. The last episode, he mentioned about the crew, and it was a little bit funny, wasn't it, Phil?
I do not remember.
well, with this, I was getting ready to change my car or something.
when I fell
just
asleep.
have to mention it again, yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, so I was sat around waiting for you to get to me for like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I fell asleep. So then you just heard me snoring down the mic and you were like, Phil. But yeah.
But do you know what the funny thing was, TNRTACKY? I keep calling you Frank or TNRTACKY. It doesn't really matter. It makes the show even more interesting. What's his name? Is it Frank or is it TNRTACKY? It's both. But the funny thing was Frank, though. He was or it looked like he was leaning on his controller, so I thought he was moving at some point, and then he was stopping and he was moving. But it turns out all along he was fast asleep. So
I mean, that's a way to puff a night, isn't it?
Well, it was funny though, because I'm thinking he's still driving, and I'm thinking I was still talking to him for at least 5 minutes before I noticed he weren't answering back to me.
And it was the first and last time I've fallen asleep on a chat. I'm yet to do it during a live stream, but then again, for me that'd be harder because I do wood burning. So if I fall asleep during a live stream, that's going to end really badly.
Well, you haven't got any hair, so you might not go up in flames too much. I don't think you got much hair on your head at the moment, have you? So at least you'll wake up before you actually do. Well, you would think
imagine,
so.
though?
Nah, you wouldn't though, would you? You just wouldn't do a live stream if you were that tired to do it.
No.
But yeah, talking about your Twitch channel and all that, mate. Would you like to tell us a little bit about it? I mean, obviously, I know bits and everything, but for the podcast, people that are listening in, they don't really know much about our channels. So, would you like to tell things about your channel?
Yeah, so mainly I started my channel because, I've really loved gaming myself and I like interacting with people. So I created my channel on behalf to make a good gaming community in general.
Oh, nice. That's what it's all about, isn't it? And I know the reason what was for your channel as well, Phil, but would you be able to tell a bit more information for people that are listening in?
In what sense? Like why I started, or
yeah, why you started? What it's all about? Your wood burning and your basics really.
Okay, so I do wood burning art. I started 3 years ago, but I didn't start streaming until very recently.
Yeah.
The reason I started streaming was mainly because of the isolation.
Yeah.
And I figured, I'm shutting myself off in a room and I'm locking myself away from the world, spending hours burning these things. And the only time that I was actually going out and interacting was when I was giving these items to the people who were buying them. So I figured, why not just start streaming it? And the fact of the matter is, there's not as many people that do something like wood burning as a form of art anymore. It's much lower than it used to be. So I figured it would be nice to show people what other forms of art there are out there, because something like that is just not taught in like schools, for example, or even colleges. So I figured it's a nice way to help people express themselves. And obviously for me, it was really beneficial to my mental health. So I figured if someone else wants to try it, it could also be beneficial to them. So why not?
Yeah, do you know what? That's very interesting to hear as well. And then and Frank's one as well. I'm just gonna call you Frank from the end now because I know you as Frank. So, but yeah, your channel is TNRTACKY, and you just put a really good statement in about why you started your channel, and Phil's story about it's fantastic to hear, because we hear all different stories about everyone's channels, why they started them and why they love gaming so much, and it's fantastic to hear. And Yeah, is there anything you would like to add to all that and all that? But before we do, the reason why I called myself Crazy Ninja War, obviously I've mentioned it shortly in one of the other episodes, but it was meant to be Crazy Ninja Warrior after Ninja Warrior because you love that show. I'm pretty sure you two love that show as well, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a good show.
I ended up liking that show.
Yeah, so that was one of the reasons why I was going to call myself Crazy Ninja Warrior, but when I was going to name it that, it was already taken, and I was actually playing Fortnite at the time then when I was changing my name, so I changed my name to Crazy Ninja War, and then I decided, you know what, that actually sounds alright. I'm going to start a YouTube channel up, and why not change my name to that? And it's just gone on since, and yeah, I did do a lot of content curating to start off with, just audio commentary to start off with, and then I got my confidence up a little bit more and did some video commentary as well. But now I don't do as much content on YouTube now. It's all about streaming on Twitch, and I'm getting some fantastic people in it, so streaming is fun. What do you reckon, guys?
I love it.
Yeah, I love streaming personally. It gets to talk to people, in real life and get to know about them.
And that's the thing, isn't it? You can react to everyone more in a stream rather than doing content, because obviously content you've pre-recorded and you upload it up, people write in the comments after and say, oh, fantastic video and all that, but when you're live streaming, they're saying it there and then you're replying back to them, so you're interacting all the time with your viewers, which is a fantastic to see, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because the thing is with YouTube, like, as you say, you post it and it's completely separate from your audience, whereas with Twitch, it's all happening there and then. They can get involved, they can make suggestions, they can slate you if they really want, do you know what I mean? So it's nice to have that, because obviously it's completely different live streaming than it is just posting a video. And when you're just posting a video, you have complete control over everything that you say and everything that gets put out. But when you're live streaming, some stupid things can slip out. You can say funny things that you didn't realize you were saying.
Exactly.
For example, like, I had a moment where I had a spasm in my hand while I was burning because I've been burning for too long.
Oh, I remember that scene.
Yeah.
It's quite funny. At first I was a bit like, are you alright, mate? But it was funny in the end.
Well, the thing was, that stream went on for too long and I knew it, but I was like, screw it, I'm enjoying myself. Which happens, like, when you're streaming. But I thought, I'll carry on and I'll be fine. The next thing, my hand starts spasming out and everyone's assuming I've gone and burnt myself. Yeah. And it was quite funny because the comments were polar opposites. Like, you had some that were like, oh my god, are you alright? And some like, you've just burnt yourself, you idiot. And it really made me laugh, to be fair. Like, but if I was just posting to YouTube, I probably would have removed that because, it wasn't meant to happen. But
yeah,
it's now one of the clips on my channel because someone decided to clip it for me.
Oh yeah, we all know who. We're not going to mention the name, but we know who.
I believe it was Nick, but I could be mistaken.
Oh yeah, I think it was. I actually think it was thinking of it now, but it was a funny moment. And as you say, you can do them in your live streams. It doesn't really matter because people are just going to go, "Oh, you're right," or they're going to laugh with you. Your comments went mad after that, which was fantastic to see. I know it was a weird situation, but it was like, "Oh, this has went well." But when you're doing content creating, and you record videos, I don't know whether you've done it before, but you've started recording, you're doing really, really well, and then the next minute you do something which you wasn't supposed to, and then you stop your record, and then you start recording again. And I don't know how many times I've stopped and recording again until I've actually got it right. And it takes me hours just to get content out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I think with my YouTube start, I think the first thing I was actually doing was like opening boxes. I was doing one-up boxes. Yeah. So obviously, don't know what you're getting, and you just kind of have to go with the flow and talk about it and that. And yeah, it got to a point where it was just boring me to do that because, you know, I feel like I was just talking to myself. But a lot of the time, it was like I'd say something, and then I'd be like, "Nope, let's start that again," because that sounds stupid. And you end up with like 20 recordings that's like, not this one, not this one, not this one. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether you have as well TNRTACKY or... do you know what? I don't know why I keep calling you TNRTACKY. Might as well just call you Frank in the podcast. But this is making a big issue. Like, go on.
Yeah. So doing recording is a lot harder than live streaming, at least, you know, like Phil said, it's, you know, real time, you're speaking to people. Yeah. When you're doing a recording, you can like stutter sometimes, and once you've done that stutter, you stopped and you're going again, and like you said, 20 recordings after. Yes, that's for one.
It's especially for me. True. I mean, it's been to me, well, I've at the start, I've been like trying to start and then going, oh, it's good. A minute later, I'm like, oh, what am I saying? Oh, it's going wrong. But the worst bit is when I'm at the very end of the live stream and I'm trying to say to everyone, don't forget to please subscribe to my channel. The amount of times that I've stuck on the subscribe name and gone, subscribe, it's been a load of times. I mean, it sounds funny and I should keep it on there, but it's like, nah, I'm recording it again, isn't it? Well, yeah.
See, but then that's the difference with live streaming then, because people would find that funny, wouldn't they, in the comments on that, and there'd be a big thing about it, whereas with, you know, editing it and posting it to, like, YouTube, for example, you do remove it because it's not what you were intending to do, but that's what people seem to find really funny, is when you mess up.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I mean, sometimes I mess up on the stream, but when you, like you say, when you mess up on the stream, you can recover yourself on the stream quicker than when you're recording it, because obviously when you're recording it and you recover yourself, it's like, it doesn't look good, does it? Sometimes. I mean, sometimes you can get away with it, but then there's others where no, you can't. But at least when people are watching your live stream and you're giving them content there, basically, aren't you, if you do something wrong?
Absolutely.
And it is amazing. And I just wanted to ask you a question, TNRTACKY. Well, obviously you're my brother anyway, but yeah, we'll let that people know on the podcast just before, you know, anyone goes, who's TNRTACKY? But he's my brother, and that's his Twitch channel, so don't forget to look him up. But yeah, what's the highest views you've been rated for?
Highest views. This is going back on Mixer when I got rated with 700 people. Mixer. This is why I like Mixer, because you got rated by, I think it was like Hype Zone or something like that. If you placed like top 3 in Apex, they end up rating your channel, and you had another one, and I got rated by Hype Zone and another one not long after, and that's why I had 700 views. I loved Mixer, but the minute they closed it down, I was annoyed because I couldn't take my, viewers over quick enough.
I know what you mean.
You know, starting again from Dredge is hard going, but I do like it. I still won't give up.
Yeah, I know what you mean as well. And do you know what? I was really hoping at one stage that Mixer was going to extend and come to PlayStation as well, and I would have loved it to see it on PlayStation, because I probably would have started streaming on that. And I think Twitch is good, but it does have its faults as well. And then I'm pretty sure you've come across a few, TNRTACKY yourself, and Phil as well. I'm pretty sure you come through some issues in the time you've been live streaming.
Yes, so the problem with Twitches for discovery is awful.
Yeah.
My advice for people that want to live stream is advertise on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Do it consistently, because Twitch doesn't discover you anything. Compared to Mixer, you got discovered quite easily. With Twitch, it's harder to get discovered unless you make content on different platforms.
Yeah. I mean, it is put out there basically. Frank's just basically said everything that I was going to say, it's a little bit strange the way Twitch do that. But I've noticed as well. YouTube have brought shorts to the platform now, which is a good idea. If you don't want to do a big content and you just want people to give you views, that is the best way to get views. I mean, I recently put a short on there and it got over 100 views, so it's okay, 100 views doesn't sound a lot, but for a little short clip it's not too bad, is it really?
Yeah, so it's just all about consistently uploading to different platforms to get you out there in the Twitch community.
Yeah.
See, the only thing that really annoys me a bit about Twitch is that, and not that it's relevant to any of us at the minute, but they take away 50% of any income, which is the highest out of any platform.
Yeah.
So there are actually talks about people switching from Twitch to this different one, which only takes, I think it's like 14% or something like that.
Is this a new streaming platform you're talking about?
It is.
I think it's called Kick.
Called what?
Kick.
I think you might be right there.
The only problem with Kick is if they don't do stuff, they're gonna be taken down because he allowed anything on Kick. That's the problem about Kick.
Right, okay.
Oh, Kick.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Kick's been out for years. I used to use Kick.
No, Kick hasn't long been out. It's a newly streaming platform that people starting to use.
I'm pretty sure that there was a messaging servers called Kick as well, if I'm correct, Phil.
That's different, mate.
Yeah, it's different. So yeah, but there is obviously a messaging service as well called Kick, and that's why I got a bit confused. And was like, have they started doing streaming as well? But no, you're on about some new gaming streaming platform, are you? Yeah.
See, but the thing is, then, do you think that there may be another like third-party app that's going to try and take over Twitch, or do you think Twitch will change their revenue system so that they're not taking as much?
I think Twitch will start listening to popular live streamers, because a lot of popular live streamers have started to say it. And I completely agree with you, Phil. For revenue, you only get about 50% compared to YouTube. You get 90% of that revenue.
Yeah, and from what I've seen, like YouTube seems to value the content creators more than more than Twitch. But like, I don't know, because I do enjoy live streaming on Twitch, but I don't know. I'm probably going to stick with Twitch for the time being, but just curious about everyone else's opinion on it.
They just need to give you more revenue when it comes to working hard and doing all them hours into live streaming, and you don't get much revenue isn't really a good thing.
It's quite
that's the only downside with Twitch.
Yeah, it's a bit crass, to be fair.
Yeah, it is. But there's some things I don't like about YouTube as well, and you're probably the same. Well, for subscribers, for starters, they don't always count your subscribers, which is a a bit weird. I mean, I don't know whether it still happens, but I remember I had like close to 260, 270, and I noticed very quickly. I mean, I know people unfollow you, but not to a fashion where you go down like 30 subscribers in a day. I mean, it's a bit weird, that, don't you think?
Yeah. See, well, you had it a lot where they were accusing you of like sub for sub, weren't you?
Yeah, but not only that, I noticed that if I had 10 people subscribing to me very quickly, that some of them will go off quickly as well, which in my thought, I thought YouTube were counting it as bots, and obviously if they see it as bots, they're going to take them subscribers off for you, aren't they?
Yeah.
Which that's how my opinion of it. And I've spoke to other people, and other people have turned around and said, yes, that does happen with YouTube. But you're best streaming on YouTube rather than content creating. Now, I always thought YouTube was better to do content creating than streaming, but apparently streaming's better on it. So I don't know whether that's right or not, but I don't know whether you've heard anything else, but yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, well, the other downside about YouTube is if someone has put a message very similar to another person's message in your YouTube video, they usually take the subscriber off you. It sounds bad, I know, but that's how they detect bots, is when they end up seeing the message that looks very similar to each other, and if a subscriber haven't watched like any more than 2 minutes of your YouTube video, then they consider it as a bot.
Yeah, but the thing is, what if that person's literally subscribed to you and has been busy at the time and not managed to watch your content until later?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. YouTube is, it's got its downsides. Even, Twitch, it's got its downsides as well.
Yeah, well, I know Blue Carrot Gaming, he streams on various, so he'll stream sometimes on Twitch and he'll stream on YouTube. And I asked him one day, do you actually get many in your YouTube streams? And he said, do you know what, mate? He said, I do get quite a few. Okay, sometimes I don't get as much as I get on Twitch, but he said I at least get like 10 people watching, which is not too bad for YouTube, but I just couldn't think of me moving to YouTube to stream. I don't know if you're the same.
The other thing about that is if you're live streaming from Streamlabs OBS, if you're live streaming from PC, you can live stream on YouTube and Twitch at the same time.
Yeah, I know you can do it on OBS as well, can't you? If you wanted to. Yeah, because I know you can stream to Facebook as well. So yeah, you probably can stream up to 3 different platforms. I don't know. I mean, I've never tried it, but I'm thinking of trying to, maybe live stream into Facebook, my Facebook group as well. But whether it works, I'm not sure. Whether it'll mess the stream up on Twitch, which this is why I'm thinking, should I or shouldn't I? Because it could mess the stream on Twitch as well, couldn't it?
I think it's worth a go, though, isn't it? I mean, the worst that can happen is you end up with one bad live stream then.
Yeah, but then the other thing as well is you can set where you can read your Facebook comments from that live stream onto your Twitch live stream, because it comes up apparently. Yeah, apparently you can set it where other messages comes from, other network that you've basically streamed on. So
yeah.
I mean, it's decent. I probably will try, and if I was going to try it, it'll probably be where I'm doing a short stream rather than a long stream. Just because if it doesn't work and it cuts you off, at least if you've only just been live streaming for an hour, it's not too bad, is it?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my thoughts with all that and that. But yeah, is there anything you want to add to that, guys? Or do you think that subject is being a really good one to talk about, and it's time to move on to the other?
I've not got much else to add to that, to be fair.
No, I got nothing to add to that as well. It's been a good conversation about that, but I think we shall move on to the next thing.
Yeah, so another question. I know you said you love your truck simulator and all that, but what is your favourite game of all time?
Well, originally it was Apex, but now I'm starting to like Rogue Company quite a lot.
Get in, he's with the team. But yeah, I totally understand, and we already know what Phil's best game of all time is. I mean, he's mentioned it in the previous episodes, but yeah, it's the Uncharted series that just doesn't get nothing gets closer, really, does it, Phil?
Nah, I just love them too much. See, like, I know originally it was the Lara Croft games, but like, I don't know, when you compare like Lara Croft, the definitive edition, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider and all that, like, they just don't have the same feel as the Uncharted games, I don't think.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and they are great games, but obviously, you know, they're different to each other. Although you could say Lara Croft is a bit more like Uncharted because they're both looking for treasure, they're both hunting for treasure and all that. So yeah, in that sense, you could say the sister and brother, really, couldn't you? In that sense, because they're both after treasure, they're both eager to get to where they've got to get, and even when things are stopping them in the way. But no, Uncharted is a fantastic series, and that is probably one of my favourites, to be honest with you. I can't think of many more, but the Spider-Man games, I've got to say, the Spider-Man games have been fantastic, the way they've been coming out recently.
Yeah.
Oh, there's too many games out there that I could say could be my favourite, you know, but I think if you're looking at a particular game that I played, it's got to be Uncharted 4: A Thief's End, and that was just unbelievable. And Life is Strange. Life is Strange, obviously, it's a little bit different to Uncharted and games like that, but if you've played that game and you know the story behind it, it's fascinating, isn't it, Phil?
It is. I mean, I found I think the first Life is Strange was one of the reasons I got a PS4.
Yeah.
There was a few reasons, obviously, but that was one of the bigger ones. But like, just the art style, the gameplay, like, it's so unlike any other game, in my opinion. They have done sequels to it and prequels and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Before the Storm was good, but I couldn't really get into the others, and I've not actually played True Colors yet, which is on my list.
Well, let's just say I've played the True Colors and got the Platinum for the PS5 version. I just need to go back to the PS4 version to get the Platinum now. But the story is quite amazing, to be honest with you, because, like you say, the first one was just absolutely fantastic, and I don't think anything could beat it, you know, in that series. But True Colors, it's got a different story behind it, and it's just amazing to see it. I mean, I did like number 2 as well. I liked Before the Storm, but yeah, I think even though True Colors was good in itself, it's got to be the first one still for me, definitely.
100%.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was emotional as well. It had me emotional anyway. Let's just say that. That's a game.
Go on, Frank.
Yeah, I mean, I I haven't played it myself, Life is Strange, but when I started watching Crazy Ninja War player, I ended up enjoying the game, watching it in person, and I might play it one day because I enjoyed it that much.
Nice one. Can I just ask, who is he anyway?
Well, he's crazy, and I'm talking to him right now.
Oh yeah, it's me. I forgot. Yeah, but yeah, mate. If you want to get into games where you've got to answer the questions and it's up to you the way the game goes, basically, in them type of games. So it is interesting because you're like, which one do you choose? Which way do we go? And it doesn't matter which way you go because there's always a different ending, isn't there, Phil?
Yeah. Absolutely.
What is that game called? Road 97, is it? Or
Yeah,
something like that?
yeah.
That's very similar in like that kind of concept. When
Yeah.
you have to decide what you have to press.
Well, it's on Game Pass still, isn't it? I believe.
Yeah, I ended up playing it. I don't have all the achievements yet, but I might start playing it again sometime.
Yeah, I do find games like that very interesting as well because like you say, you don't know which way the ending's going to end. It's up to you to decide that. So it's brilliant. I mean, Phil's played. Okay, I'm not into horror games, but he's played Until Dawn, and Until Dawn is basically similar to them games, isn't it? In a sense that you got to choose wisely on your on the questions that are there, basically.
Yeah, so whatever you choose will dictate how the game ends, basically. But yeah, so I absolutely loved Until Dawn. And like, literally, I think that they said there was like over 200 different endings.
Wow.
Yeah. It's generically like the same kind of ending, but the sound bites and the video clips are completely different depending on who survives and who dies. Like, I mean, and do you know what? This isn't a spoiler, but like, one of the trophies you can get is finish the game with everyone dying. So you can literally finish the game but completely fail it.
Wow. Just imagine if every game was like that. You'd definitely go for the platinum just so you could ruin the game, basically.
I know. Well, I think that was actually the last trophy I got where I killed everyone because I was like, do I really need this platinum just to shame myself the fact that I've gone and killed everyone? I was like, screw it. I'll get it. I'll prefer to have the platinum and knowing that I've killed everyone rather than, people know that I made it through without dying.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about platinums and all that. I just want to see for both of you, how many games have you actually fully completed? Now that is a good question because you probably don't have any count on that, basically, do you?
Go on, I'll let you go first, Frank.
Can you say it again? Sorry.
Basically, I was just asking how many games have you fully completed? I mean, it's a tough question, that, because on top of your head you probably don't know the number, do you?
Even though I played Trick Simulator for 2,500 hours, I've still haven't completed it. Don't have all the achievements. Wow. Apex I've completed. Rogue Company I completed. I can't think of any other games I've completed though.
But there might be some games that you've completed and you just can't think.
And I just can't think. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Phil? Then, how many games roughly?
Fully completed, like 100% completed. I don't have a number on because obviously I used to play games before achievements were a thing.
Yeah.
So the number is definitely in the hundreds. I can say that much. But on the PlayStation, I have 69 platinums. and I'm so close to 73 total now.
Nice. So, in other words, it's probably around about that mark, isn't it?
Well, I mean, that's the mark on the PlayStation, like, but when it comes to, well, on the PlayStation 4 and 5, but when it comes to, like, in general, like, I've completed so many games on so many different consoles, like, obviously, the Mega Drive, the Dreamcast, the 64, the Game Boy Advance, the Switch, you know. So, yeah, there's hundreds. What about you?
Me? Oh, God. Well, because I don't stick to one game, I don't know. I have completed a few though, but I've got 30. I can't remember total, but I know I've got 30 odd platinums. So that's on PlayStation. So I have completed at least 32, 33 platinums, maybe more. So you know. Then games have been totally 100% completed, got the platinums for them, but some of them though were being easy platinums, but who cares, it's still a platinum, isn't it? You know. It's one of them.
Yeah. So you actually have 34 platinums at the minute.
Oh right, yeah, I thought it was around sort of that mark. It's not too bad considering that I stick to one game. Is it?
Yeah, I mean the thing is, so like there was one platinum that I did enjoy getting, but I also enjoyed getting. Yeah. So there was Shadow of the Colossus, which phenomenal game. Now I was a big gamer back when with PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2. Granted, I was still, you know, a child and a teenager, but yeah, I used to play games quite a bit back then. But I'd never come across that game until it was released to the PS4 for PlayStation Plus. So yeah, I got that, and oh my god, I loved it. Yeah. And apparently it was remade from the PlayStation 2 to the PlayStation 3, and then again to the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? It's funny to think, because you know you get people who are like, I'm sick and tired of them remaking the same games again and again. But if they hadn't have remade that game again and again, I never would have played it. I never would have knew about it. Yeah. And then there's also The Last Guardian, which is like a sequel to it, sort of. Now that one was much more of a pain in the neck to get the platinum for, solely because you've got to like stand still for excessive periods of time for the game to give you hints. Yeah. Which was infuriating, but the game itself was phenomenal. So, yeah, I do like my trophies.
So saying that, but before trophies all come on and all that, obviously when you back in the day when you were a kid and you got your first console, it wasn't about going on and completing a game. It was about going on and enjoying it. But now that trophies have been introduced and all that, the last, you know, decade and a half, I think it's a decade and a half now since the PlayStation 3 came out. Yeah. You could say it's like a decade now. But since the trophies have come out now and the achievements, for instance, you just want to get them all, don't you? It's not about going on the game and enjoying it. I'm not bothered about completing it or not. But now you want to complete them because you want to see them trophies in your, your trophy cabinet or your achievement cabinet on Xbox. Which
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it makes gaming more interesting to do, and this is what Nintendo should have done. Nintendo should have done this with the Nintendo Switch. They don't have an achievement or a trophy system, and they really do, because I think it'll make games more interesting. And
I was a bit surprised that they don't have anything like that.
Yeah, and you know what? They don't even have party chat as well, so and messaging and all that. Maybe they might bring that out eventually, but you know, I can't see it really. And do you know what I miss that used to be on the PS4 is themes. We don't have that on the PS5. You can't just change your themes whenever you want. It's got to be that basic one that you got on there.
Yeah.
I mean, the good idea they have had is certain games, if you hover over them, the picture comes and there's a sound in the background, but it's only until you move on to the next game, isn't it? So it's not a... You could say that's a theme, but it's only a theme until you move the cursor, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But yeah, is there any questions you want to end this podcast with, Phil?
Yeah, so we always ask what's your favorite game, what's the best game you played. I'm curious, what's the worst game you've ever come across?
Oh, probably a few, isn't he?
If you can remember, like.
The worst game I've probably come across is something like Mayo Simulator, something like that.
Mayo Simulator.
I mean, it's easy for an achievement, yeah, but it's a boring game in general to play.
There's no real challenge there. It's literally just pressing buttons for the sake of it.
Just pressing for button.
But saying that, me and Phil have played My Name is Mayo, and we've actually gone through all the series. We've gone from I Am Mayo 1, I Am Mayo 2, and I don't know whether Phil's completed it yet, but I've got the platinum for I Am a Mayo 3. You have, yeah. So
yeah.
You think to yourself, I mean, you're probably thinking, that sounds like a rubbish game, but do you know what? It was actually quite fun, wasn't it, Phil? Believe it or not.
I found them really weirdly funny. Like, they weren't a difficult game. They weren't a, particularly thought-provoking game or anything. So, but it was funny, and it's funny to see how annoyed some gamers get when you say that you played that, because it's like, oh, you're just trophy hunting for the sake of trophy hunting. You're not actually putting in the effort. You're a fake gamer and everything. Like. Yeah. But like, I don't really care. Do you know what I mean? It was fun, and it made me laugh how annoyed people got. So I kind of enjoyed that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, in a weird way, I enjoyed it.
So that's amazing, mate. And what's the worst game you've ever played then, Phil?
Okay. I should have thought about this. Okay, so see, I'm only thinking like PS4 and PS5 really, but we did, and I take full responsibility for this. I'm the one that decided to buy it.
I think I know what you're going to say, because I think I'm going to say it's my worst game as well. But I'll let you carry on, because I think I know, but I might be wrong.
No, you're probably right. Jumanji.
Oh yes. Do you know what? To be honest with you though, when you said, do you want to buy it with me, go halves with me, I was like, yeah, because we watched the movie and it was fantastic. It was like, yeah, let's just watch. Let's just buy it. So we bought it, and it's absolutely awful. And I'll let Phil speak about it, because he'll say more to it that I'm going to say. But go on.
Okay, so it has multiplayer mode and story mode. The multiplayer mode which we played, it wasn't finished. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't even close to being finished. Like,
no.
You'd get to so far into the game, and then you're running in midair through this invisible maze that doesn't exist, and you're just running on nothing. There was times where you get stuck in the wall, get stuck in the floor, and it was just full of bugs, like unbelievably. Like it was worse than. It's like it wasn't even beta tested.
Yeah, yeah, basically.
It's like it's in its first trial, and they were like, screw it, we'll release it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a bit of a letdown, that game, in my opinion. Yeah, don't get it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure whether you had it. Did you, TNRTACKY?
No, I didn't have it, but yeah, I agree with you. The quality wasn't so good. The wife in game performance wasn't particularly good. What I've seen of it, I think the problem is running it off an old game engine, which causes a lot of problems and bugs into games.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And do you know what? Do you know what makes it funny as well? They brought a PS5 version to it. They upgraded it. I think it was before Christmas last year. Yeah, they decided to upgrade it and give a PS5 version. Now, I've downloaded it, but I don't know why I've downloaded it. I just thought, you know what, I'll give it another try because they upgraded it, but I haven't tried it yet. But the fact that they've used old engines, especially when it was meant to be based on the newer movie, which I can't understand why they've used older engines. It doesn't make sense, does it?
I know, it was just a huge letdown.
It really was, and it's been fantastic having you on the show, mate. Obviously, I've been calling you all different names on this show, so. But anyone that does want to look at TNRTACKY up, he is on Twitch. He streams loads of games from Apex, Rogue Company. Sometimes he streams Hogwarts Legacy. That's what he's been doing recently. And he also does Truck Simulator. So yeah, give him a look up. And yeah, thank you for coming on our show, mate.
No problem. It's been a pleasure being here tonight.
It has, and you know what? We always, in the last few episodes, we've always ended the show where we ask you a question, and basically the question is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
No, not really. I can't think of anyone that I want to shout out.
That was easy then, wasn't it?
I can say a massive thank you to Crazy Ninja War and Phil for letting me on the show tonight.
It's not a problem. It's been a pleasure having you.
Absolutely.
I'll definitely talk about it again because we could go on for ages and ages, but I think we need to cut it here while we can because them conversations they've been fantastic tonight. So I think ending it on a fantastic high on all them conversations. I've really enjoyed the chat tonight, guys.
Absolutely. I mean, I do have one shout out if you don't mind, though.
Yes. By all means, we do ask each other for shout outs as well. So yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so last night I was watching a stream. And it was by Vape Dimension.
Oh yes, yeah. I came across his channel the other night. He's a fantastic streamer.
Well, so when people were finished with his stream, he put out like a really kind message. Like he was very supportive in the sense of like if anyone ever needs to talk, and he put out a very nice message in a very caring way to his followers. And so I just thought, you know what, something like that deserves a shout out. Like. Do you know what I mean? It's nice when you get like real streamers. It is such a nice thing to see.
It is. It definitely is. And I want to give a shout out to Nicker John Wick. I just think she's been fantastic and supported our channels a lot lately. And
absolutely.
You know what? Also, I want to give out a shout out to everyone that's been part of Stream Wars and helped us out as well. They're an amazing bunch of people, and we met some nice people. And I just think it's a group for life now. I think we're going to be there until we're old now.
Absolutely.
But yeah, if you haven't already looked up Stream Wars, please give them a look up. They're on Discord. It's called the Stream Wars community. Fantastic. If you're a live streamer like ourselves, these people will help you gain more followers, more views. So give them a look up. But yeah, we're going to end the podcast with we have a Facebook page. It's called the Teamworks Podcast. So if you want to look that up, you can do. But also, if you do have Alexa, just turn around to Alexa and say, play Teamworks Podcast on Apple Podcasts. It will play the latest podcast, guys.
Nice.
So yeah, once again, it's been a pleasure having you, TNRTACKY, as our guest in this episode, episode 8. And yeah, it's been amazing. And alongside me as well, as always, the fantastic Phil.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you guys for joining, and hopefully we'll get you on the show again sometime, TNRTACKY.
And no problem. Thank you for letting me on for show. And yeah, you guys have a great night.
Brilliant.
You too, mate.
Thank you.
Wonderful talking to you.
I think that's a wrap. Thank you, and yeah, see you next time, guys.
See you next time.
Bye.
Peace out.